Welcome to the video. Hi. How's it going, everybody? I am here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I wanted to make this video because today I uploaded a vlog where I'm here in Nashville interviewing Dave Ramsey for this documentary that I've been working on for the last 4 months and will be for the next probably year because it's a lot of work. But I said something in today's vlog that riled up some comments, and I was just joking, and some people think that I wasn't just joking, but this is actually a topic that I've wanted to talk about for a long time, and do it in an unconstrained manner, and I want to do it in a way, I want to have this conversation about this title that you see up here. See that title? And I want to do it in like, we're two buddies sitting at a bar, having a beer, having an open, honest conversation. Now, I don't drink beer. Not saying that I ever haven't drank beer. Maybe we could talk about that later. But you know what I mean? That kind of feeling where it's like, there's no, like, you don't know me, you don't know anything about me, I don't know anything about you, but say we just met here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're at a local bar, and we're like, what do you think about God? I don't know, what do you think about God? And you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to have this conversation where there's no, like, finger pointing, and just be able to like express how I really feel and genuinely hope that you guys believe me. I don't see why you would have any reason not to. Anyways, so the reason that the reason I'm doing this video is because today I was at Dave Ramsey's office and I was talking about Dave's momentum theorem, which is focused intensity over time multiplied by God's power equals unstoppable momentum. And then when I said that in the vlog, I thought, because this is what I do as a vlogger, and I think a lot of YouTubers do this, the first thought that came to my mind is like, oh, all the comments are going to say, oh Shay, we get so sick of you talking about God all the time. So then I'm like, well, if you believe in God, and then I said that, and then immediately I think, well, the people that believe in God, you know, and then I said something like, well, if you don't believe in God, you're stupid. Haha, joking, and that pissed some people off. And I got back to my hotel room tonight, and I got on the vlog, as I always do, and I was reading comments, and there's people that are like, Shay, I'm sick of you saying things like that, and I've supported you and your family for all these years, and I thumbs up every comment. I don't appreciate you saying things like that. And I thought, I was really just joking, and the reason I said it is because I was like, you know, like, I hate when I think about the comments as the words that I'm saying come out of my mouth, because then it alters what I really want to say, because I speak according to what I think the comments are going to say, and I hate that. I want to just say exactly how I feel. I don't think people who don't believe in God are stupid. I want to come out right now and say, just like the title says, I don't know if God exists. I don't. I've never seen him. I've never received a message from him, an email, a text. But I felt things. I've felt happiness. Now, there's big debates about that, whether, you know, where those feelings come from and if they are from God or not. Here's the gist of it. I guess the only way I can talk about this is to talk about my background. I was born into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. My parents are Mormon, so I was born a Mormon. So that means, you know, because kids believe what their parents believe. As you're growing up, you believe whatever your parents teach you, because in a kid's eyes, parents are this. You remember as a kid, your dad was the smartest, strongest, toughest guy there was, and your mom was the most beautiful, you know, loving. It was like you, depending on what kind of parents. If you had crappy parents, maybe you didn't think that. But you know, as a kid, at a certain age, you think that your parents know everything. And I remember asking my dad all kinds of questions and just thinking he knew the answers to everything. And so you believe what your parents teach you. So growing up in a Mormon household, I just grew up knowing that that's the way that it was. And as I got older, you know, in the Mormon culture, boys at the age of 19 go on missions, which is a 2-year proselyting service mission where the guys in the white shirt and ties with the black name tags who knock on your door and say, "Hi, my name's Elder Butler. I'd like to share a message with you about Jesus Christ." And I did that for 2 years in the West Indies. I lived in Barbados, Trinidad, and Guyana. and did all kinds of things. I really would like to tell a lot of stories of things that happened on my mission. That's maybe for another YouTube channel another time. And when I went on my mission, I was 19 years old, just graduated from high school. I was a regular high school kid, you know. I loved to hang out with chicks. I loved to ski. I drank beer as a high school kid. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I was a regular high school kid, and it was always in the plans for me to go on my mission. I remember my grandpa Eugene, when I was 8 years old, when I was baptized into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, my grandpa saying, "Well, Shay, only 11 more years till you go on a mission." And he would say that to me every year. You know, when I was 16, he'd be like, you know, 3 more years till you go on a mission, Shay. So it was always a thing that I was going to do. And my parents, they were pretty active in the church. They weren't like die-hard, knew the doctrine and made us read the scriptures every day, but we went to church pretty regularly. And so when I went on my mission, I didn't know that much about the gospel, about the scriptures, about Mormon doctrine. And I remember like the first 6 weeks of my mission walking around Barbados with my trainer, the missionary who trains you when you go in. His name was Elder Fazy. And I remember him like just talking to me about the church, and I would be like, "We believe that?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, you didn't know that?" And I'd be like, "No, I didn't know we believed in that." Like, oh, I should probably know that before I go on this 2-year mission to teach people. And I did a lot of learning, man. Whatever you say about missions and missionaries, it is a huge learning experience. To take a 19-year-old kid who just graduated from high school and send them to a foreign country with foreign food, with people they've never met, in a culture they've never experienced. I remember being in a grocery store with 100 people and being the only white person in the grocery store, because Barbados is 99.9% African American, or black people, Bajans. People from Barbados. Shout out to Barbados. I love you guys. Black Rock, Bridgetown. I lived in all those places. I want to come back. I love you guys. So there was this huge learning experience that I had, and I learned about myself. I learned about other people. I learned about my church. I learned about the scriptures. And I had experiences on my mission that it strengthened my testimony in God and in the church that I belong to. I remember when I was in the Missionary Training Center in Provo, Utah, reading a scripture in the Book of Mormon in 3rd Nephi, chapter 17, and it talked about Christ coming and visiting the people in America. And when he was there visiting and teaching these people in America, at one point he called the children up. He said, "Bring the children forth." And it says in the Book of Mormon that he blessed them and he prayed for them. And I was, because when you're in the Missionary Training Center, it's like a fraternity. You're in a district with 12 other 19-year-olds, and it's it's reverent because it's a reverent atmosphere as far as like being, studious and studying the gospel. But you're a bunch of 19-year-old dudes, so it's rowdy, and you're joking around a lot, and the teachers are always trying to calm you down to feel the spirit and to focus on the work and stuff. And so I remember my companion, he was just like me, kind of a crazy high school kid, and we were reading these scriptures one night together, because that was what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to study with your companion 30 minutes a night. And we were just kind of like going through the motions, just reading these scriptures like we're supposed to. And that's where we're at in the Book of Mormon. 3rd Nephi, chapter 17 is the reference. That's the chapter. I don't know the exact verse. But anyways, we were reading this. And as I was reading it, it was like he would read 5 verses, then I would read 5 verses. And that's how it went. And we're just kind of like, okay, let's hustle through this so that we can read their letters from our girlfriends and our parents back home. So we're doing our due diligence and we're reading. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, unexpectedly, this feeling came over to me where it just filled me up inside. And it was the love, I think, of Christ. Just to imagine him bringing all these children forth and praying for them and blessing them. This emotion, it just like overcame me. Like I can't explain it. It was just like a surprise feeling that just filled up inside me that made me think like, this is true. What I'm reading right now feels good. And some of you will argue that, well, Shay, maybe you just felt love because, when you love others, it makes you feel good. And that's true. That very well could be true. I'm not saying that, here's where I want to be the devil's advocate. I don't want to be like, and that was God telling me that the Book of Mormon was true and that Joseph Smith was a prophet. I want to be able to be open to the atheists. I'm talking to the people who don't believe in God here. Maybe you're right. Maybe God doesn't exist, and that was just a feeling that came to me because I read about somebody doing something good, and us as humans, physiologically, we like that. We like to see good stories. And I will say, maybe that's it. And so anyways, let me continue my story and I'll come back to that. So I went on a mission and had a ton of really cool experiences. Came home, married Colette. Dang, she's hot. We made 4.5 babies. Number 5's on the way. And in the process of that, we moved to Los Angeles. Now, when I moved to Los Angeles to start Maker Studios and do the whole YouTube thing, it was weird for me because everywhere I was at in my life up until that point, I was 28 when I moved to LA. No matter who I met, it wasn't if you believed in God or not, it was what church you went to. When I was on my mission, there was no atheist. It was like, you were Anglican, you were Catholic, you were Muslim, Assalamu alaikum, I love the Hindu, I love the Islamic people. There's all kinds of religions, Baha'i, and it wasn't if there was a God or not, it was which religion you followed. And the big analogy they would always use in the West Indies is like, well, it's like all rivers lead to the ocean. There's all multiple religions and they all lead to the same God. There's only one God, which I do agree with. Anyway, so then when I moved to Los Angeles, it was this whole different world where it wasn't what church you believed in or what faith you belonged to. It was like a majority of people, especially in Venice Beach, is where we moved, was, oh, you believe in God? You're stupid. Really? You believe in Santa Claus too? What about the Easter Bunny? You think a little bunny hops around and puts Easter eggs in your house? Oh, Shay, that's funny. And I remember having long talks with Ben and Lisa and Danny, and I remember Shane Dawson and Philip DeFranco, all of us getting in these big religious debates. And I still feel like even then, as a returned missionary, as a 27-year-old man, I was still didn't have a full grasp or a confidence in my belief of God, and it felt like I was always defending it, well, it's true, and if you say it's wrong, then you're wrong. And I've learned a lot. I mean, to be honest, culturally. Oh, here's another thing I wanted to say too, is when you grow up in the Mormon Church, it's and this is wrong, and this is just a culture thing. It doesn't mean the religion's bad, because the religion is full of people, and people are flawed. People make mistakes. That's why I always get frustrated on the internet when religion gets such a bad rap. It's oh, religion causes all this hate. People cause hate, and people do stupid things. Not the tenets or the beliefs of this religion. Now, some religions teach hate, and the Westboro Baptist Church is obviously, I don't want to say it's of the devil, but what's up with those dudes anyways? But I remember being on my mission and meeting a Catholic or an Anglican and be these are really good people. They believe in God and they're strong in their religion. I'm maybe it's okay to be a Catholic. That sounds horrible. But as a 19-year-old kid who was raised in the Mormon Church, it was Mormon way or the highway, you know what I'm saying? And it was there's all these other good people, and they believe in their church wholeheartedly and they follow it. And it sucks that was surprising to me. That was shocking to me. But it was. Anyways, so going back to God or not, and thinking about because I've done that when I've had to do that that process of elimination in my mind. Okay, well, Shay, what if God doesn't exist? What if the Mormon Church is not true? What if all of this is just a made-up hoax from Joseph Smith, who was the first prophet of our religion? Maybe to answer another question, Mormons are Christians. We believe in Jesus Christ. We believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God and that He is the Savior of the whole human race. That's him texting me right now. Hold on. Hey, Jesus, I'm busy right now talking about you, bro. That was blasphemous, maybe? No. So I've had to ask myself that question, and I've kind of done this logical, okay, why would Joseph Smith claim what he claimed? Joseph Smith claimed in the first vision that he saw God and Jesus Christ as two separate beings. God the Father and his Son, Jesus Christ. Joseph Smith was praying to know which religion was true. This was in the 1820s. There was a religious fervor, as the book calls it, and there was Baptists and all these churches claiming that they were the true religion. And Joseph Smith didn't know which church to follow because all of them said that they were the right religion, and Joseph Smith was a 14-year-old kid, and he wanted to know which was the right religion. So he was reading the Bible one day in James chapter 1, verse 5, that says, if any of ye lack wisdom, let him ask of God, and God will give him, and upbraideth not. Basically, you can pray, you can get on your knees and ask, and he will tell you the answer. And so Joseph Smith took this literally. He said in his own history that no scripture at any time has struck a person with more, like, go and do it. I can't remember the words, but he, like, that makes sense. I'll ask God which church to join. So he says in his account that he goes into the forest when he was 14 years old, and that he prays to know which church is true, and then God and Jesus Christ came to him and said none of the religions are true. And then it was revealed to him that he was going to reestablish the Church of Jesus Christ on the earth. That's what Mormons claim also, is that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the restoration of the original church that Jesus Christ started when he was in Jerusalem. When Christ came to the earth and he had 12 apostles and he had these 12 disciples and he set up a church, we believe that church fell away through the death and the murder of, like, Peter, James, and John and all these apostles that were killed, and therefore the authority, the priesthood, was taken off of the earth, and then Joseph Smith restored it. Joseph Smith claimed that John the Baptist came to him and laid hands upon him and restored the Aaronic priesthood, or the power to baptize on the earth, and that later Peter, James, and John came to Joseph Smith and a man named Oliver Cowdery and placed their hands upon his head and gave him the Melchizedek priesthood. Now, this might sound crazy to all of you. Some 14-year-old kid in upstate New York is saying that Peter, James, and John, Christ's original 3 apostles, came to him and gave him the power that Christ gave him. But that's what we believe. And so then you have to go through this, like, well, do I believe that? And should I believe that? Or did Joseph Smith just, like, make up this religion? Why would he make up a religion? Why would a 14-year-old kid claim this? Was it so he could make a bunch of money? Did he want notoriety? And then I start thinking, like, what is his end game here? In the Bible it says, by their fruits you shall know them. So here's where I come to answer that question. By their fruits you shall know them. I think, okay, I'm going to be honest with you guys. About a year ago, I made a decision to, and that's why we've gotten more religious in the vlogs lately, is because a year ago, June 3rd, actually, what's today? 2 days ago, was that year mark. And I never vlogged about this or anything, but I said to myself, I'm going to try an experiment. And I'm not going to go into the dirty details. I wasn't following every commandment of the church that I was, that I believed in. But June 3rd of last year, I said to myself, I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to use science on religion. And experiments are scientifical. What I'm going to do for the next year is I'm going to live every commandment that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints teaches. I'm going to pay my tithing. I'm going to obey the word of wisdom. I'm going to go to church every Sunday. Multiple different things. I'm going to read my scriptures every day, as much as I can. I don't read them every day. I'm going to say my prayers. I'm going to say my prayers with my family. We're going to have family home evening every Monday night. Mormons teach that we should have a family night. I'm going to have a couples prayer. Me and Colette are going to pray every night before we go to bed. And I'm going to do all the things that the church teaches, that the Book of Mormon and all these things teach, and I'm going to see what it does to my life. And that was a year ago. And I'll tell you what, and this too could be just happenstance because I'm doing good things, but I have never been more happier in my entire life. I have never felt more peace of self, of conscience. I feel more, like, confident, like I can look people in the eye and talk to them and I have nothing to hide. And that feels good. And so that's the only proof I have that God exists, or that this church I belong to is true, is that it makes me feel good. I feel happy. And I think some of you think, like, I wonder sometimes when I talk about religion, if you guys think, like, oh, he's just trying to convert us. why would I want to convert you? It's not like I get a discount on my tithing if I convert 10 people this month. If you sign up 10 Mormons, you don't have to pay 10% tithing anymore. You know, it's like, I have no benefit to baptize any of you into the Mormon church or to get you to believe in God. It doesn't, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, what do you think my motivation is to try to get you to believe in God? I have none, other than the fact that it's human nature to share things that make you happy. If you go see a good movie, what do? Oh, you gotta see the new Star Trek. It's awesome. Or whatever it is. People like to share good things. And this experiment, by obeying all these commandments, has brought more happiness and joy to my life than I've ever experienced. My relationship with Colette is better than ever. My relationship with my kids is stronger than ever. And I love it. And I don't want to go back, and I'm sure you guys are like, what were you doing, Shay? What were you not doing before? Well, I'm not going to tell you, because I'm not going to tell you everything. That'll be in the documentary. Oh, joy. So, to the people that are atheists and don't believe in God, here's another thing, like, I believe in education. I believe in science. I think that science is good and education is totally valuable. A couple vlogs ago, we were at Logan's graduation, and Casey made the comment of like, Logan, now you got to get a job, and I said a comment like, oh, you never have to go to school again. And then there were some comments in the vlogs were like, do you guys not believe in education? Totally. Like, I dropped out of college just because I was impatient and I wanted to make money, and I had 2 kids, and I thought, I need to make money for my kids. When I am like, in my life, I plan on being a multimillionaire just because it seems like that would be good to be able to buy boats and cabins and stuff. It just seems, so that's like, that's not like the end all, but I want to have that. And I always tell myself, once I like get that and I'm like, I have enough money where I can feel totally comfortable, I'm definitely going to go back to school. Not to get a degree. That's the worst reason to go to school. To get a stupid little paper. Here's a paper that says you can go get a job now. Look, it has your name and a seal and an emblem on it. Congratulations, here's permission to go get a job or to make money in this world. Stupid. That's why I hate it. I felt like being in college was a rat race. I was signing up for classes that would be like, oh, you gotta do this before you can take this class. And like 3 classes, like the class up here that I wanted to take, I had to take these other 3 classes that I didn't want to take in order to take this class. I'm like, this is bullcrap. I think school should be for knowledge. And so after I make my millions, which I'm gonna do, check out Shay Carl's shirts, really hard to, just kidding. I want to go back to college, not to get a degree, but to gain knowledge. You go to college to gain knowledge. So I totally believe, I believe that God's power is science, is knowledge. The miracles that we see on the earth, for instance, the miracle of birth, how a little sperm, a little weird gelatin-like thing, and like an egg in a woman's body can grow into this, that just doesn't seem like happenstance to me. It seems like there is a greater design. Like, humans create things, like they create these intricate computers that can think and do things. The human mind and the eyeballs, go watch Devin Supertramp's last video where he talks about your eyes are like the greatest camera on earth. We as humans create these devices that are trying to mimic the eyeball. Now, how did that just happen? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Through evolution, starting as like pre-mortal sludge, and then turning into like these little things, then you're a monkey, and then all of a sudden we've evolved into this like amazing machine that we are today. That just doesn't feel right to me. And that's, I guess, the only thing you can base on, because whether you like it or not, I cannot prove that there's a God. And you cannot prove that there's not a God. And here at the end of the day, here's what I think. I think, what sounds better to me? And because I can't know for sure, I'm just going to go with what sounds better to me. In my mind, when I die, having a loving relationship with a Heavenly Father that will welcome me home into His arms and hug me sounds better than just being in the dirt for eternity. And because we don't know and we can't prove it, I think to myself, why not just go with what sounds better? Why not just go with what feels better? And there's some people that just like I don't know what it is. Like, maybe it's just like they have to logically prove everything. But sometimes you just have to base things on faith and hope. I hope there is a God. And if there's not, then I'll just be worm fruit food, I'll just rot in the ground with the rest of you. And if I die and God says, hey Shay, that Joseph Smith was a crook. The real religion up here is Catholicism. I will say, where's the Pope? I want to kiss him. I will be Catholic. I don't care. Like, that's the point, is whatever is truth, I want to go towards. And if we can't prove the truth, I want to go towards what feels better. So if I die and they say the Baptists had it right and everybody in heaven's a Baptist, I'm a Baptist. Sign me up. I want to be the best Baptist there is. I just want to go what's truth and what feels good and what's right. So, how long is this? Let me see. Hold on real quick. I'm about to lose footage. I don't know, man. So, we can talk about this more later. I've wanted to have this conversation for a long time, but I feel like I never have, really. Just been, like, totally open and blunt and honest, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Does this make sense? I think, like, this is a good conversation. Let's do this more. Let's have more of these conversations. But let's not do it in an accusing manner. Please. That doesn't accomplish anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am 100% wrong, and God doesn't exist, and the Mormon Church is a cult, and I'm going to hell. I will accept that. If that's true, and that happens to me, that sucks. Dang it. I didn't want to burn in hell forever. But if it's not, then, I mean, that's what I'm saying, like, leave nice comments. Not nice, you don't have to leave nice comments, but don't leave mean comments. Have a discussion. Even if they're not based towards me, I know the comments will get all heated because this is a very heated subject. Because if you think about it, it's an important subject. It affects all of us. Because what if God does exist? And I think that scares some people because they think, well, I'm not living in accordance to what I have heard are God's laws. If there is a God and he has these rules, I'm definitely not living those. So if I believe that God exists, then I have to admit that what I'm doing is wrong, and they don't like that, and change is hard. And you got to be able to be that devil's advocate in your mind. You have to have those open, honest conversations with yourself. What if this is not the way you thought it was? And I do that with myself all the time. I do have those doubts. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I wonder sometimes, like, maybe Joseph Smith just wrote the Book of Mormon. I don't know. But it feels good. Maybe Joseph Smith just invented the word of wisdom. You know how you hear Mormons don't, the crazy Mormons, they don't drink beer, they don't smoke, they don't do drugs, they don't drink coffee. This was a law of health given by Joseph Smith 180 years ago called the word of wisdom. To me, the word of wisdom is proof that Joseph Smith was a prophet. Because I think what Joseph Smith taught 180 years ago, it says in the word of wisdom, eat fruits and vegetables, eat meat sparingly. It says only eat meat in times of winter or famine. Basically, Joseph Smith taught to be a vegan 180 years ago. He taught not to take tobacco, smoke, drink, chewing tobacco, don't take drugs, don't take addictive substances like coffee. You ever been in line at Starbucks? It's addictive. It's not good for you. There's no way Starbucks is good for you. I'm sorry if you're addicted to Starbucks and you love getting your Starbucks. I understand. I like things that taste good and make me feel alive too. But they're not good for you. And Joseph Smith taught this 180 years ago before, we went through the 50s and 60s when scientists said that smoking was good for you, that it helped aid digestion. You know what I'm saying? So there's things like that Joseph Smith taught, centuries ago that today, in 2013, doctors and scientists and health experts are teaching. Like, this is like some new knowledge. Like, if you have a diet of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and you abstain from liquor and tobacco, you'll live longer. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he was like 20 at the time that he revealed the word of wisdom. And to me, it was like, well, if God made these machines called our bodies, wouldn't there be like a user's manual? Wouldn't there be like, here's the best way to operate the human body? eat fruits and vegetables, drink lots of water, whole grains, abstain from tobacco and alcohol. And in the 1800s, like, there's a story of, like, anyways, I'm not gonna get into it. But things like that, like, I'm like, that points me towards, like, this must be true. So, once again, let's have a conversation. That's what I want this to turn into, is let's talk about these things. Leave comments, and I'll make another video about it. And, you know, raise some issues that I didn't discuss. And maybe, you know, I want to be totally open and honest and have these conversations. Have I said that before? Okay, I got to wrap it up because it's long. From Nashville, Tennessee, in a hotel room with a cowhide above the bed. Boo! Why is there a cowhide, right? Isn't that weird? Can you guys see that? Can you see the cowhide? I don't know why that is like the decor in my room, but it is. Let's have these conversations more. I feel good about it. I feel like this can open to more discussions. And maybe even leave video responses. That's the best way to conversate, face to face. All right? This has been episode, whatever it is, of When the Kids Go to Sleep. Love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.